Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly Photoshop a Fortnite GFX. I'm going to be making this GFX that's on screen, and I'm going to show you the best tips for making a good Fortnite GFX. So first thing I'm going to do is make my project. So you can either click create new if this is how your Photoshop looks like, or go to file, new, or I think command N if you're on Mac like I am, or control N if you're on Windows. Command N for Mac. Make sure the dimensions are the width is 1920 and the height is 1080. So I'm going to name this Fortnite Photoshop GFX tutorial GFX. Alright, I'm just gonna do that. I suggest naming your projects just because if you ever need the project file, then it's easier to find, you know? Like, I know a lot of people just go up here and they do this and just do this, like that's their name, or maybe this. I would suggest not doing that because it'll be hard to find the file unless it's in a good spot that you know where it is. So I'm gonna grab my render, and all you gotta do from there is just drag and drop it. Alright, so I have my render in. What I did was just found it in my files and just drag and dropped it. Now what I'm gonna do is just make a new layer. I'm gonna hit B on my keyboard, or click this little brush icon. So it'll bring you to the brush tool. Click Control and click. So Control and click to get this menu up. And you can change the size of the brackets, or you can use the square brackets to change the size of the brush. I would go for like a good 800 maybe, like it says 800. That sounds like a good amount to me. Oh, and make sure you're using the soft round brush. Hardness can be 0. And I'm just gonna go over the render like this. Make sure I get every part of the render. What this is doing is just making it a bit lighter, and this will add a good effect on your render. So now I'm going to click up here where it says normal, which is the blend mode. I'm going to click overlay. Right now you can't even see the character because the character is white, and I put white over, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to put the opacity at 35. But if that's too much for your character, depending on your lighting, which, by the way, if you guys don't know how to properly do, watch this other tutorial I made. It'll be the iCard on the top right, somewhere like right here. Watch that tutorial. I go through a lot of things like camera angle, lighting, posing, all the good stuff. And I got this requested by someone else, how to Photoshop a GFX. So yeah, so I just went over the brush, or the render with the brush. Now I'm gonna copy paste the same layer twice. But this time I'm going to lower this opacity to like 5. I don't know why I do this. There's like a lot of easier ways to do this, but I just like doing it like this. Now go get your background. I have a specific server that you guys, I'll send the invite to down below in the description. It has a lot of things like backgrounds, renders, all the good stuff. And it's called Apex Design Server. So I'm just going to get my background. And yeah, alright, so I got my background in, and I personally like to use these clickbait, quote unquote clickbait type backgrounds. They call these clickbait for some reason, I don't know why. But basically I have my background in, and now I'm gonna go to filter up here, go to blur. I'm gonna add a bit of motion blur. I would keep 20 to 30. It's a good amount for me. You don't want the background to be seen a lot, you just want it to be there. So I'm gonna add another layer and go over the background with white. And do the same steps. Go over the full thing, put overlay, and this time instead of putting it at 35, I would put it to like, maybe 35 is good for you. I think I'm gonna go with 35. This all depends on how bright your background is when you take it. Alright, so also if you don't know how to zoom, you can use control and then control command depending on your OS platform. basically, click Command or Control, then do the plus sign or minus sign to zoom in. Now, you can also check down here, right. Let me go like right there. It says 50%. That's how much I've zoomed in, and you can just like type in if I want to go 200% in. That's 200%. I personally just prefer using the keyboard technique. Find it to be easier. Alright, so I got this little pose. It's the superior skin pointing towards himself. And basically my idea for the thumbnail is saying the most OP skin. Alright, because in my opinion the superhero skin is probably one of the most overpowered skins. And customizable for those who don't know and don't play Fortnite. It's one of the most customizable skins. Basically, now what I'm going to do is add a new text by pressing T on my keyboard. And I'm just going to hit escape for now, just so I get out of text mode. I'm going to reposition this text. To reposition, you can press Control or Command T, once again, depending on your operating system. And I'm going to just move it around. Don't mind the dancing that it's doing, that's just how it is. I'm just going to write the most. I don't want to write the full text on this thing because that's too much to fit in this. So now what I'm going to do is just change the size to like 50. I think 50 is a good amount. So I'm going to do the most, and then I'm going to copy paste it, drag it down, again using Command and or Control T to get into the the mode. The most OP, and then just copy paste it and skin. Then I'm gonna add an exclamation point. So again, I'm just gonna move it down, or if you can just click on a part of the text and just drag it down. So right now it looks pretty bad considering it's just black. I'm gonna add different fonts to it. So right now I'm using the Skia black extended font. I don't think I would use this for right now. I'm gonna use Barlow, and I'm going to use the extra black italic style of the text. So it looks like this. You can't like bolden the text unless you have the bold type of the text. This is black italic. I think I might use black more instead. I like the bold touch it has. Now for this, I'm just gonna use Burbank regular. I feel like I overuse the font. But yeah. Or actually, I'm gonna look for like a big, thick font, not in the sus way. Yeah. I'm gonna use Bolby 1SC. I think that's a pretty big font. I'm gonna go down here and just change this to Burbank, because why not? Actually, I'm gonna keep this as Barlow too, and I'm gonna keep black italic, because why not? Now again, this looks pretty bad because it's pretty plain, because it's just black. So I'm gonna first move the text and reposition it, and you'll see some effects I'm gonna do with this. First thing I'm gonna do is increase the size of this to like 60 maybe. I know I decreased it, just for positioning. I'm gonna move it down, then move the OP down, but first I'm gonna increase the size. So now it's pretty big. And I might change it back down later on. So yeah, there we go. So what I'm going to do is put a bunch of gradient fonts on, or text on my fonts. So first I'm going to do the most, and just click gradient overlay. This is not the overlay I want, I just use this on my most recent project, so it just automatically does that. Photoshop will give you fonts to use, or like a gradient, so you have blue gradients. You have some nice blue ones. I think I might use this. I think it looks pretty nice. And then I'm gonna click stroke. Click on that, and maybe you can decrease it. What this does is it keeps a black outline. I kind of like that, so I use it a lot. Now for the OP, I am going to first of all just change this to white because I'm going to be needing it like that, and you'll see why. Next thing I'm going to do, I just noticed, is just move this text a bit to the right and reposition this to kind of match that as well. I'm going to bring it up, and now we're going to go double click on the layer, click gradient overlay. It'll have the same overlay used before, and just click stroke. I think one thing I might do is I'm going to move the render a bit that side, and just make sure, like, when you render the thing, that render the GFX, that you're not rendering it to the point where it's cutting off certain things. You can do that if that's the type of GFX you're going for, but in this case, if I had cut off this arm, it'll look really weird. It'll just have half the arm cut off, and that looks, like I said, very weird. So now what I'm going to do is grab a red label. I will keep a Discord attachment linked down below in the description. Alright, so I got my red label. I'm just going to drag it under the OP. And like I said, I'm going to decrease the font. I might decrease it, and I think I might have to. This still looks a bit too big, so I'm going to keep it back at 50. Yeah, this looks good to me. I'm just going to keep it like that. Now, I think the gradient overlay does not match the rest of this, so what I'm going to do is add a white and gray gradient overlay. So you'll see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to keep it one of the colors full white. Then this color is like slightly blue. I'm going to drag this down to like a grayish. Actually, I think the light blue did look pretty good. So I'm just going to hit escape so it goes back. Maybe it's a bit too pale for me, so I'm just going to drag it a bit closer to the blue, so there's a bit of the blue on the bottom of the font, but yeah. Alright, so now this gradient has saved, and all I'm going to do is go to skin, untick, and tick. Alright, so it did not do that, so no worries, just you can click on the white here. And then all we're going to do is just drag this a bit. There, it doesn't have to be the exact same, or like, it can be similar, but if you really want it to be the exact same, then all you have to do is go to the text you used, go to gradient overlay, click on this, the whatever other color, and you'll see right here it has the hex code. You can copy that. Okay, exit this, then go to skin. Click on gradient overlay. I'm just gonna keep this at a random color, so one sec. Click on this. I'm gonna go to red. Okay, this looks very bad. So now I'm going to click on the color, copy that in, and boom. So you have the exact same color that was on the other one. Alright, so now you can just make the minor adjustments that you feel need to be made. For example, I feel like the red label and the OP text were too close to the skin text. And I'm also going to change the font from this font because I feel it does not look very good. I think I might go with Barlow as well. Let's see how this looks. I think I'm going to use the exact same style of the font and just drag this up so it's even with the red label. And boom. This looks pretty good to me. Now all I'm going to do is, I'm an organized freak, so I'm going to highlight all the text and just click group. So now if you untick this, it'll untick all of them. I'm just an organized freak. Sometimes I like to do it with this too. I'm not going to, just because I don't want to annoy the shit out of you guys. Yes, sorry. Yeah, okay. Now I'm just going to move the render a bit more to the right. That looks good to me. Now I feel like the background looks a bit plain, so what I'm going to do is copy paste layer 4, or whatever layer number it is. Keep the opacity as 5. Then I'm going to go over it with a bit of black. Okay, so I already have black there, and if you have different colors, just click on this, and it'll automatically keep it black. And to switch the colors, you can either click on this icon or you can click X. I'm just spamming X and you can see like it's switching the color. So I have black. I'm gonna increase the brush size a bit and just go over the background black with black on the background. I'm gonna go back to cursor by hitting V. I'm gonna put overlay, and now what black will do is add a bit of shadow to certain parts of the GFX, and that's really important because if I untick this right now, it looks pretty bright. When I tick this, there's a bit of shadow, and I feel it might be a bit overpowering, so I'm gonna keep it at 10 the opacity. Now this looks very nice to me. Alright, now this GFX looks pretty much complete, except for one thing that I like to do is add a bit of glowy eyes. So I'm gonna add a new layer, keep it just above right above the render, and I'm gonna hit P on my keyboard to get the pen tool, and make sure you're on path up here. Make sure you have clicked path, and just go over the eyes with the pen tool, and just once you're done with this, like that, click up here, make selection, and just hit enter. Now click W or find any selection tool up here. I'm going to use the object selection tool because it's just the one I have selected, by clicking W and right click to change to other selection tools. So I'm going to click W, right click on the selection, click fill. I already have white selected, so I'm going to click color and then color again, and if it was this color, then I just keep it at white all the way at the top, which is just quadruple F or something, F in the chat. Now I'm just going to hit enter, and you won't see an immediate difference. Like if I untick this, there's a slight difference because the eyes are already white. So now what I'm going to do is add outer glow. Now if you can see this looks very good. Alright, I didn't do the other eye yet just because I want to see the comparison. I'm going to add a bit more glow to the eyes. I'm going to put this at 15. Just experiment with the spread and the size to figure out what's right for you. Alright, so this looks good to me. Now I'm going to do the exact same steps on this eye. You can use Control Z or Command Z depending on your operating system to undo mistakes. Thing is, once you undo a mistake, I don't think you can redo it. Which is like Control or Command Y, which is, yeah, that's normally the keybind. So again, go around the eye, selection, enter, W for objects or selection tool, right click, fill, and if you don't have white selected, just click color again, and just select the color. And then once you're done, just click enter. And since it's on the same layer, it'll automatically have glowy eyes. Now to get rid of the selection, just click object selection tool and just click anywhere. Alright, you can click here, there, click here, click there, click everywhere. Alright, now this looks really good to me now. Alright, if I undo this looks pretty plain, then the glowy eyes come, and that's it. Now another thing I'd like to do is go up here, click on the background, go to filter, and click camera raw filter. Now what this will bring is the whole color menu. Alright, once this comes up, yeah, there we go. It'll bring a full color menu. You can change the exposure, the contrast. I'm going to keep a bit of low contrast. Highlights a bit up. Highlights will be at the back, whatever's white. The shadows, I'm going to keep it a bit up. The white's up, and that was black. The white's up, and the black's a bit down. Boom, now we have a nice looking background. And now I feel I don't need these extra colors. Same with this. Or actually, I think I might keep this and just darken it a bit. Okay, that looks very bad. There we go, boom. So now we have this beautiful GFX. Now, another thing I'm going to do is add a bit of stuff to the text. So first I'm going to right click on whatever text you want, click rasterize type, then Command or Control T, right down here, then right click and click on any of these. I think it's perspective, that's the right one. Right, alright, so now I'm just gonna like mess around with this, add a bit of an effect. Yeah, there we go. So if you see that, it'll do that. Alright, if you see this, it'll do this kind of an effect. I'm gonna just bring down the bottom one. Oop, bring it up. And there we go. And sorry, don't mind the background noise. There's some stuff going on. Actually, I feel like I don't need this, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. And boom. Yep, that looks pretty good to me. I think that will be the end of this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you guys found this helpful. Make sure to like and subscribe so you guys can get more tutorials like this. And be sure to watch my other tutorials. It'll be on my channel. It's a playlist, and it'll be in the description. So yeah, watch that, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching once again. Yeah, that's it. Peace, guys.
When I be getting on the road, yeah. Racks in my jeans, money stays where I go, yeah. House inside when I be kicking down the door, yeah. Bands lit high, we in the same boat, yeah. 2 black guns parked up by the kickstand. 223s packed up by the hitman. 911, yeah.